So Vishwas, Samman and Samvedan Shilta is what Prime Minister is highlighting. He also spoke about how he is taken forward what was discussed in Kazan, that it was of some achievement certainly. He has highlighted that there is shanti or peace at the border, speaking about how special representatives have been engaging on border management. A direct flight is on the cards. He also spoke about Kailash Mansarovar. So lots of points of convergences is what the Prime Minister has highlighted there. Gaurav, your big takeaway as we played that opening comment of Prime Minister Modi in that crucial bilateral.
It's the Kazan initiative that's being taken forward. In Kazan, a decision was taken which led to the disengagement at the remaining two friction points. Disengagement process now is complete. De-escalation is the other big step, ultimate de-induction, which would lead to demarcation of borders. So that's the principle that India is following. And India's entire principle is that now India and China must move to have a mechanism to settle the boundary issue and not just keep it burning or festering for decades. It's been festering since the 1960s. It's actually technically been festering even before that. Aksai was lost in the 1950s. So right from independence, look, this is a legacy issue. Both India and China realize. China's point is, let this remain for a future generation to solve, and then let's move forward on the other aspects of the relationship, and especially gaining greater access to Indian markets. But that is something that India is very uncomfortable with, and India's point repeatedly has been, you have to have peaceful borders for the relationship to move forward. Peace and tranquility at the borders is the basic prerequisite for this relationship to move forward. Now, both sides agree that there is peace and tranquility at the borders. Borders in the past several months have been better managed in terms of disengagement and not de-escalation. De-escalation is a very significant step because both sides had moved in their heavy artillery and heavy armor and bigger weapons of war. They now need to be moved back either to their peacetime locations or to an equal and mutual security situation. And what does that mean, Maria? That becomes very significant. You see, China is on a plateau, on the Tibetan plateau. It can move troops and men and material much faster to the battle area or to the boundary. For India, it takes a much longer time because, we have the mountains to cross. And that is why equal and mutual security is very significant. And that is why Indian weapons and systems will have to be much further, much closer to the border than the Chinese system. So all of that remains work in progress at the boundary level mechanism, at the foreign ministry level mechanism, at the special representative level mechanism. In all of that, that is being dealt with. So while that is being dealt with, given the higher direction from the Prime Minister and the President, it's on the trade and people-to-people cooperation leg is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping intend to move forward on today.
Okay, we have Jabin Jacob also joining us. He's Associate Professor, International Relations and Governance Studies at the Shiv Nadar University, where Dr. Mohan Kumar continues to be with us. Mr. Jacob, your thoughts on the bilateral statement which has come in from the Prime Minister. Of course, we'll be waiting for the debriefing to happen sometime later today by the Foreign Secretary, but these opening comments.
Okay, so the first, I think, is that the Prime Minister is reiterating a lot of what the special representatives discussed, as well as the Foreign Secretary, during his visit to China, had discussed. So, as you said, direct flights, resumption, scaling up of the Kailash Mansarovar, all of that is what we're talking about. Still not enough clarity on whether there will be exchange of journalists on the two sides, as Geeta pointed out, but I think that would be an important step to show that there is, what the Prime Minister talks about, greater mutual respect and understanding. I mean, without journalists being able to travel to both countries, I don't think that focus on the other country is going to be available to create the mutual trust and so on. One point I wanted to sort of highlight here is that, this cultural aspect, the Prime Minister has referred to the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. And, the ANI has been playing several clips of Chinese artists. I think Geeta pointed this out, of Chinese artists playing Indian music and so on, Indian dances. I think we have to be a little careful here. The Chinese have what they call the Global Civilization Initiative. They are very organized about these things. They've really laid out the red carpet, as well as played on this cultural angle during Prime Minister Modi's visit. We saw this also, of course, during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan. But the Chinese are far more organized on this front than we are. So we have to be careful that this talk about great civilizations, the cultural relationship, etc., doesn't go beyond a point where the Chinese start putting forward a particular version of history that is their own. We have to be alert to the potential implications further down the line also.
Yes.
Which also suggests that, we have to do our homework better on these things.
Yes, but the points that he made was also about that but the two nations have carried forward what was agreed upon and discussed in Kazan. Dr. Kumar, come in here, talking about that there has been certain degree of disengagement which has happened at the borders, which is essentially leading to peace on the border. The representatives are speaking on the border management. Those aspects of long-standing border dispute also being discussed here.
Yes, I think they are. My issue is the peace that has been achieved is temporary.
That's right.
So unless you find long-standing solutions to the problem, peace cannot be permanent. And that's something that I'm looking for signs where China can actually give out signals that they are keen on a substantive long-term engagement with India. I was struck by one of your tickers which said that NSG entry was being discussed. Now, that is the kind of issue on which China can actually give India a lot of confidence. If China said, yes, we would like India to join the NSG instead of linking India with Pakistan. If that is the kind of thing that China can say, that will lead to a lot of confidence. What I'm trying to say is that there is a geopolitical window here for actually India and China to put their heads together and lead to some substantive breakthroughs. So far, I'm only looking at soft measures or low-hanging fruits. I'm not able to see substantive concessions from China or from India. So as a hardcore diplomat, you have to ask yourself the question as to whether this is one of those moments where China also feels that India is in a slightly weak position.
Yes.
Can we then get concessions like removing restrictions on Chinese investment, get direct flights, people-to-people ties, and then see where it goes? So I'm trying to look for signs where China can be the bigger country, and it is a bigger country in terms of economics, trade, and investment. Can China make one solid concession which will make me believe, okay, this is what the Chinese want in terms of a substantive relationship? I'm sorry, I'm not able to see that just now.
Okay.
But I'm not saying the meeting is not a good one. It's good from our perspective. I think this is testimony that we will follow from now on, a multi-alignment strategy, if you like. This actually strengthens India's conviction that you cannot really stay away from engaging with a country like China.